back to another super metal infused. I'm always looking for a new word to use in the intro, so I just came up with that. Metal infused episode of For the Sake of Heaviness.
Heaviness. Ow!
Oh,
I
heavy.
was
So
gonna go heyo. I don't know why I went ow like a stupid wolf. That was the dumbest thing I ever did on this channel.
no, I think Count Butchula. A lot of people want to
Uh,
see that come back too.
no one
Anyway,
wants to see me
tonight,
howl though. Jesus, sorry.
I thought the hell was cool.
werewolf in London. We are joined tonight by the one and only Eric Sexton-Dorsett of Sleepless, and we will also be discussing Alpha Destroyer tonight too. Eric, thanks
Yeah,
a ton for being here, man.
Thank you, Eric.
my pleasure. I love you guys, and yeah, I'm super stoked to be here.
It's good to have you. Like we were saying just before we jumped on, it took a little finagling and some cancellations and pushes and time zones and all kinds of crazy shit, but you're here. That's all that matters. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Let's talk some talk rock.
yeah, let's you got two major projects going. So let's start with Sleepless first
Yeah,
because I as we were leading into this interview, I'm like I cannot for the life of me remember how I came across Sleepless. I mean, obviously it was probably on the internet or something, and I came across Host Desecration, which I have right here.
yeah.
This was in my top 10 of this respective year. And I'm just tell us because it seems like Sleepless was kind of born out of the pandemic, right? Is that kind of all came about when we were all kind of
It-
hunkered down with nothing to do?
yeah. I mean, like there's like 20 bands called Sleepless. I don't know if we were all formed during the pandemic. It was like uh, it, yeah. I mean, the pandemic was what it was. There was I had a lot of things going on. My daughter was having some struggles with substances and shit like that. And then at the same time, the pandemic hit, and like there was just a lot of chaos going on. I was having a lot of depression, anxiety. I wasn't sleeping. I was running a business still, but I was running, just kind of running nonstop and couldn't make things quit. And I've been a vintage comic dealer for like the last 10 years. And
Oh, cool.
Nice.
and yeah, I came out of teaching Brazilian jiu-jitsu and started doing comic books full time.
Oh man.
But anyway, I was reading this 1950s horror book, and it had a story on the front called "The Man Who Could Not Sleep." And these like ghouls are carrying the guy, and he's all stretched out. His eyes are pried open, and I was like, "Fuck, that's me." Like the ghouls are carrying me off. And so I just started coming up with these little ideas, like I'll call it Sleepless, and excuse me, and I'll write the first song be called "The Man Who Could Not Sleep," which it was. And I was working with Eric Tablin, my original drummer from my band Dead Conspiracy. So from like one of the first Northwest death metal bands back
Yeah,
in.
that's some underground death metal royalty right there.
It's been said, yeah. I mean, first demo came out in '87. We're coming up on the 40th year for that in 2027. So
Wow.
talking to some of the guys. Unfortunately, our guitarist passed away a couple of years ago. But talking to some of the other guys that I still play, like I said, I play with Eric. I've been playing with Eric Tablin since we were like he was 14, I was 16, I guess 15 or 16, and a punk band called Protest, and we were in Dead Conspiracy. And anyway, he and I were just coming up with ideas. We were making up, just the idea was everything that in Dead Conspiracy I couldn't use because when we would play, we kind of had not a formula, but our guitarist Chris kind of led the band, and if it didn't, he really was, he wanted it to be stay in kind of that Sodom onslaught type
Sure.
thing like we did when we started,
Sure.
being a demo band and trading with all those guys, when we started, and so I respected that. I was like, yeah. So I had all this other stuff in my head, and I'm like, I just want to let it loose. We got this pandemic. What are we gonna do? Like, let's just fucking write. So
Sure.
we just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and then we're gonna get a thrash metal singer, and we're like, well, I felt like God, it's just phoning it in. Like this is what we always do. And I'm recording with Kevin Hahn at Opal Studios, and like I said, we've been friends since high school. And Kevin sings in a Journey cover band called tribute band called Stone and Love, and like they're really good. Like Alex Webster is at every show unless he's on
Wow.
tour. him and his wife Allison, they're always there. Like everybody's there. There's 1,500 people at these shows. Crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
And Kevin sings his balls off. And one day I'm like, dude, you want to sing on this stuff? And I had just been playing Symphony X for him. I was like, you gotta listen to me. These guys are not like they get it. They've got riffs, they got a backbeat, like they know what's happening. And he listens to it, he's like, wow, yeah, I want to do it. And mind you, yeah, he's been playing in a journey band, but back in high school, I made Kevin learn Nuns Have No Fun, Piranha, Countess Bathory, the Antichrist, the Slayer Antichrist. Every band had to have a song called Antichrist, of course, back then. But a bunch of songs like that to play at a party. And so like he came out of doing like Striper and Dockett and Michael Schenker type stuff to learn all these songs from me to like play as a party. I don't think we ended up doing it, but it kind of expanded his palette, I think, a bit at that time. And so he's kind of prepared for what I do. But anyhow, it was crazy because I just thinking about today, like with a friend of mine we're playing the song in the studio, and I give him the lyrics, and he's sitting there reading them, and then the first words come out and is oh, the blood of Christian whores brings me comfort, and I was like, he just sang that, and I was dying, right, because he's singing all melodic, and I'm like, this is the coolest shit since sliced bread. And I'm like, and he sang the roughest lyrics I'm probably gonna write. And he did it with a straight face. So I'm like, this is gonna work. Like there's no turning back now. He's not gonna say no. The song's a historical song, by the way. I mean, it's about the old Christian teaching that Jews would rub the blood of Christian women on their abdomens when they were pregnant to make sure they'd have a healthy birth. So
Okay.
called the blood libel, right? So I spent a lot of time on lyrics on that first record. No one really commented on it, but that's the way lyrics go. I think they only comment when they don't like your lyrics. So, but yeah, that's how we started. So during the pandemic, it was kind of like it was kind of organic. That first album, I really love, a lot about it. But yeah, you tell me what you think. Anyway,
I I
I
absolutely
could talk
love
all
the
day.
album, and I know I turned Butch onto it back in the day, and your latest one is right behind me too, and I love that. Just a quick side note, because
Yeah,
I gotta ask who does the artwork, because
TJ Barber,
man,
he's good, right?
there's
It's fantastic.
there's
Yeah.
some albums where the cover artwork just doesn't do the music justice, but
Yeah.
both of these, holy shit, man,
I,
they're
I was just
fantastic.
talking to my buddy Ron about this today. Exactly. There's a weird thing, man. TJ's in Minneapolis, and back in like the MySpace days, he messaged me and said, "Hey, do you need artwork for your band Dead Conspiracy?" And I'm like, "Well, we have a MySpace page, but it's kind of in memoriam. Like at the time we were broken up, we reunited in 2012." And I'm like, "But I am opening a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu academy. Would you be interested in doing some T-shirts designs? But keep them rock and roll. Keep them
Yeah.
metal." He was like, "Oh yeah, cool." So he did that. And then 3 years later, we reformed Dead Conspiracy. He did our first album cover, then our T-shirts, and then. But it's a weird thing. Like I've been working with TJ Barber since 2009, and I've never heard his voice. I never talked to him on the phone. I've never met him in person. We only type on Facebook. It's fucking weird, man. Like it's like I think of like a baseball player like scratch your nuts 3 times and spit over your left
Yeah.
shoulder like for good luck. Like I'm afraid like if I break the spell somehow, we won't be doing anything good anymore. Isn't that
You got
fucked
to
up?
that point.
Yeah. I mean, he did the Alpha Destroyer cover, and he's getting married this year. I know he was super busy. He couldn't do all the layout, but he did the cover, which is phenomenal. And he starts everything with line art. So he sends me the originals. So I've got all
Nice.
the original pen,
Yeah.
pen and paper, and then he scans it and then does the inking and stuff on computer. Some of it he does by hand. One of the Sleepless, it might have been the first EP I have, and he did like a colored pencil type thing to it.
Wow.
So that's really sick. But yeah, man, he's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, the artwork on these albums is just exquisite. So let me ask you about the lineup real quick, because on the first album you handled guitar and bass, but that's not so much the case on Through Endless Black, right?
I did all the guitar and bass on that album too.
You did. Okay. Okay.
Um, my son Hickson is on listed on the record. He plays bass now. And he's actually been playing for Sleepless for like 3 years.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, at least. I mean, he started playing bass to, and he was musical already. He played percussion, played drums, and things like that. So he was already pretty musical. But he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna learn bass," and so I just didn't tell him the songs were hard. I just said, "Okay, here, do this." And he within 6 months he was moving like James Brown, moving his feet and playing like the man who couldn't sleep. Like it's in three, and then it's in all these songs switch between odd meters and all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
And he just does it because I just said, well, just do this. I was like, I never said it's gonna be hard, dude. So yeah. So he actually plays in Sleepless and that Sleepless's alter ego, which is called Occultista, and then he also plays in my band Yersinia, which is like a thrash metal, kind of like a cross between like Anti-Cemix and Testament.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
That's got to
So
be a
yeah,
lot
the
of fun.
lineup. Yeah, lineup is the lineup now is um, me, Hickson on bass, Kevin singing, and then Ryan McPhail is playing drums now. Eric and I are still together, but we're doing Yersinia, but he's not doing Sleepless right now. Like the Sleepless thing takes a lot of time, and
Sure.
it's pretty demanding. The songs are a lot harder, and it's just we have to spend a lot of time with it. And Ryan was my drum teacher, and he's a fucking monster. He plays an Alpha Destroyer, but he's like I can give him a click track with a guitar part, and he'll just come in with the whole song sketched out on a notepad and sit it down, and he can do it in one take.
No kidding.
We've
Wow.
never rehearsed it. He just writes it, he composes it, and every time it's exactly what we needed. And you're like, maybe a couple changes, like, hey, could you do like a little dotted eighth note thing on this section, and maybe close your hi hat a bit, get a little more less binks, thing, not so quite so splashy. And oh yeah, note, note, note. It goes in, does one more take, and it's done. Um,
Man.
which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I mean, we also have a live singer. So this is a thing that we've talked about for a long time. I don't know if you and I have ever talked about it, but Kevin doesn't. He does Opal Studios full time, so he can't really do Sleepless live. So we have a guy named Evan Halbert, who is another beast, who is a friend of Kevin's. He used to sing in a Judas Priest cover band and a bunch of other bands, and he's really great. So he's singing with us live, and even though this band has actually never played live, um, we have the live lineup. That's what the rehearsal is tonight.
Sure.
I'll try to make this short, but when we started, I had music segmented into two things. One was Sleepless, which was anything goes. Anything goes. Whatever it is, however it lands, that's what it is. Call it what
Sure.
you want.
Sure.
The other side was called Occultista, and that was an intentional thing I did. That I was sitting in my truck waiting to have lunch with a friend one day. I was listening to the Stained Class album, and I'm like, how in the fuck did Judas Priest make this album so heavy with distortion that sounds like heart? It's like Barracuda, right? It's
Yeah.
how how does it sound so heavy? I was like, I'm gonna write a whole album like this. And again, this was just coming out of the pandemic. I had plenty of time on my hands. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd sold my ownership in the gym, and I was like, okay. So I just started writing this stuff, and I played very differently. So on the second Sleepless album, you could probably pick the songs out that are actually Occultista songs.
Okay.
Those are Lost Star, Lessons in Tongues, and Cult of the Narcissist. Those three songs have a much different flavor to them. We added keyboards to them and supersized the guitars and stuff to make them fit more the Sleepless sound
Yeah.
and add
Okay.
some diversity to the record, because I didn't know if these songs would ever see the light of day. So we now have two set lists. One is Occultista, which is more as kind of like psych rock, type
Sure.
thing. The other is Sleepless, so it's kind of like Parliament Funkadelic, like
Yeah.
one has horns, the other one has acid rock guitars and no horns. So
Yeah.
like, but it's the same lineup. We can play shows either way. We have 2 set lists we practice, and that's it. Kevin can come up and do some songs like as a special guest, but between the demands of running a studio full time, doing his Journey band, and he's in like 2 other bands as well. Like,
He's
and
pretty
he's
booked
always
up.
like, "Man, Sleepless stuff is fucking complicated, dude. Like, to do it justice, you really have to practice it,
Sure.
all the time." And so, anyway, we were kind
See,
of
that's
stuck on that
crazy.
for a while.
That's
Yeah,
crazy that you mentioned those 3 songs, on this album, because now when I go back and listen to it, that's going to cause me to like really hone in on those, because I think it's a very cohesive, consistent album through and through.
Yeah.
But
That's my
now that
thought too.
yeah, now that you
I
mentioned
appreciate
that
that.
though, it's going to give me like a whole nother dynamic, now to go back and
Well,
check it out again, knowing
I
that.
always thought like if you're an old metalhead, like people go, "Oh, this song like Lost Star, oh, that sounds like Queensryche or whatever." I'm like, okay, well, we all grew up at the same fucking time
Yeah,
listening to the
yeah.
same music. It really comes from what's that song? It's like the Island of Damnation or whatever, the Judas Priest song. Like,
Yeah.
like it
There,
just I like, hey, I want an acoustic thing. Kevin made the acoustic thing. Then I was like, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-doo, down, down. That was it. And then we were like, yeah, this is cool. Now let's write this cool little bridge, kind of pick it up, get a little exciter-ish, some double basses. And we but yeah, it was yeah, I appreciate that. The idea was to me is like an album, like I love a band like Cannibal Corpse, for example. Like, I don't think they're going to do a song like Lost Star. They're just not going to. It, however, back in the old days, if you heard Balls to the Wall, there's other songs on that album that if you looked at them in a vacuum, you'd be like, did that fit on that album?
yeah.
Totally stylistically different, but it's the same band. And it's like, it's how do you make it sound cohesive? So all we did was kind of reamped the guitars and made it sound more sleepless and added some keys and stuff. And and I picked the 3 songs I thought would help define the album in a way that would be diverse but also kind of fit. There's some other ones that just don't fit it, and that's fine because they're going to be on the first Occultista record. And we're getting close to, we're mastering our first single. It's called 6 Reasons. It used to be called Bell Bottoms and Pentagrams, which is part of the
Love
lyrics.
that.
It's very like anti-religious, but kind of lighthearted. That band, it's a little
Sure.
more. We have classic ditties like "Freedom from the Cross" and like that one, stuff like that. It's pretty cool stuff. I like it. I love it a lot, actually. So it's cool. It gives me the diversity to feel like I'm never being pigeonholed into one thing. I've got to keep
Right.
writing one thing.
Right.
Whatever comes in, it's like, okay, is that for this band, or this band? And I can go from there.
It sounds
Gotcha.
like you're constantly writing then, because it sounds like you have would have a ton of material if you could take stuff from one project and feed it. If you've so are you like just like playing all the time?
So I don't. My problem is like I'm not a lead player. So Kevin plays all the leads, and I'm trying. Like I've been signed up for Paul Gilbert's online guitar school thing for a couple of years, and I play. I do it when I can, but necessity is I need to write. So I started drums 3 years ago because as a producer and a songwriter, like I need to understand more about what I'm doing. Like how do
Right.
these songs go together? Yeah, being and drumming changed everything for me because I understand more about what I'm doing. And then I just grab one of these guitars and I just let it come in from the ether, whatever fucking comes in. It's like I'll take that and I do it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I just do that for it's like an exercise, like going to the gym. It's an hour of that maybe. And then an hour, 1 to 4 things comes out and I record them. I get it. I record it on my phone and then it goes into a list of ideas. And then I take the ideas and either I go through it myself and refine it, or I take it to the studio because I'm at Opal Studios every week for a full day. So
Nice.
I'm with Kevin in his studio. I book it every week, year round for a full day. So I walk in, we have our cup of coffee, we talk shit, we talk about whatever the new record is out. He asked me about what kind of obscure pop music stuff or whatever I'm listening to right now or something. And I'm like, oh, I was totally inspired by this West Hollywood like gay dance club tune, which was. And part of one of the songs on the Sleepless album came from a song like that. But I produced some stuff like some different types of music too. So anyway, we talk about all kinds of shit, and then we get in there and it's like, okay, what are we gonna do today? Oh, we're gonna write a song. Okay, cool. And like it's not even daunting anymore to say that. Like it's like by 3 p.m. the song will be outlined. Like, and it's like I go, okay, here's what I got, and I'll go through it. Here's this first riff, and I love this one. And he'll go, oh, I'm feeling that. And I play the next one. He goes, that's cool, but it doesn't seem to fit the song. I was like, I was hoping you'd say that, but listen to this one. Oh yeah, that one fits. And then we just start. And it's like, so yeah, I mean, just constantly writing, but it's not like a lot of hours a day. I listen to some, forget the guy's name, he's some acclaimed writer, and he was on a podcast talking about like motivational stuff. And he says a professional author, he writes 2 hours a day. Okay. And I'm like, when he started, it was like 8 hours a day. Now it's like 2. And then you kind of lose your creative juices. So I have a little chart, and it's like behind this computer is my electronic drum kit over to the side you can't see. And behind that's like the keyboard and the computers. And so like, it's like an hour of writing. And then that's my expression time. And then it becomes discipline, like sheet music, advanced funk studies, doing drums. And then if I still have any energy left, I'll grab a bass and, sure, do something. You know what I mean? Let's try to get a little bit better. We're getting older. You know what I mean? I don't got time to fuck around. What am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and Butch have said that too. As you get to the middle-aged metalhead type of thing, you're right. It's like, I don't have time to fuck around. I need to get to the point. But I
you
mean,
want to fade to oblivion, or you want to make good fucking music?
That said, though, you seriously surround yourself creatively, though. So it seems like you never really have any downtime. You can go in 100 different directions, which
a lot of anxiety, dude.
I suppose that'd be wrapped up in, but I think a lot of other musicians would find your position quite envious. I mean, but Butch is a lead vocalist. I've never reached that, level, but man, I coming from me, I envy that situation that you have it at your fingertips pretty much 24 hours a day. I think that's pretty cool.
I appreciate that. I wish I could allow myself to appreciate that more. I mean, like honestly, like my wife says all the time, my wife is an anesthesia provider. So like, she went back to school. I supported her through school. She got a really good job. I'm old enough to like, she's like, you've been working 80, 90 hours a week since I've known you for 17 years. Why don't you start cutting back on shit and start focusing on your music? So
wow, that's awesome.
The last couple of years I'm like, well, I'm not going to take that for granted. Right. So, yeah. I go to the gym so that I can still look good enough for her. And then I get to work on music, so.
Not a bad deal.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I'll try to take that to heart, because I just end up getting stressed out, and then I gotta like turn on like, before your meals, you gotta eat like a sorbet or something to cleanse your palate. Yeah. So like, I go, I get so stressed, like sitting here thinking about music stuff and the fucking business end and the distribution stuff that sucks, and none of it works. And I'm just fed up with the whole thing, and I got to go turn on Duran Duran Essentials and like cook a steak,
There you go.
Just there's my palate cleanser, listen to some different stuff, and then I feel good to go again. But the music never stops. It's like sure. It just calms down the constant buzz in my head, So
right, yeah,
it kind of always has to be there.
That's awesome.
I'm a little crazy.
So let me ask you this: as far as the latest Sleepless album, you had Jerry Lang on there. So being from that area, have you known Jerry for a while, or how did that come about?
I used to fear the fuck out of that guy back in the punk days.
I think a lot of guys did.
Yeah, I mean, all the stories of Jerry knocking out 2 guys on the stage, and a couple things happened really quick. I mean, my daughter I adopted really quickly. I mean, I adopted my daughter, and she ended up kind of following the footsteps of her biological mother, ended up on the streets. Genetic propensity towards substances, and she ended up on the streets in Texas, and she ended up dying. And right around the same time, the guitarist Chris Carey from Dead Conspiracy died from overdose, and it was just weird, just all fucked up.
Yeah, sure.
And I was writing the song, and I started writing the lyrics about it's called "Exist Another Day." So Jerry made the title. I was writing from perspective of like trying to help somebody in any given situation, and they won't accept your help.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jerry was like, yeah, Jerry is, I use the term musical genius lightly, but he's that kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just he's very thoughtful, and he was like, yeah, I want to do this, and he goes, I'm taking it from a different perspective. I'm going to be death,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
coming to get them. Like
Wow.
it's like,
Wow.
yeah. And I was driving to Seattle for something, and Kevin Hahn sent me the demo Jerry sent him of him doing a scratch track for it, and I was fucking almost had to pull out. I mean, it was tears pouring down. I was like, because I knew exactly what he was saying in the song, and it was like all the stuff, all of our loss, all of these people we care about, and all the years of that, of all my best friends from school fucking dying,
Man.
all of them. Like, why don't you go to your high school reunions? I'm like, I still hang out with my friends that are alive.
Yeah.
All the rest of them are gone.
Yeah.
And so Jerry did this song, and I remember it. I'll never forget. Like as he was leaving the studio, he goes, "This is a feather in my cap." And I was like, I looked at Kevin. I was like, "Did this really just happen?" I'm like, And then
Wow, that's cool.
2 years ago, I got that. 2 years ago, uh, I was on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and Jerry hit me up about playing in his band. So he formed a band temporarily called the Neo, from the old band, Portland band, the Neo Boys.
Mhm.
So we were Jerry A and the Neo Girls, and there was no girls in the band, but it was fun. And we were doing his solo record material, and then we did 3 Poison Idea songs, including one that our guitarist, because our guitarist from Dead Conspiracy, Chris Carey, played bass for Poison Idea on like
Right. Yeah. Okay.
4 or 5 of their records, and so that was a huge deal for me. So I got to play for Jerry. We played for a while, and it was super great. And then like schedules and stuff like that got messed up. We weren't able to play, so he went on to do the other stuff he's doing. He never slows down. So
Sure.
I'm always on the bench for Jerry A. If he calls me in, I'll be right there, because I'll play bass for him any day.
Wow.
It was cool just to play bass, because honestly, I've always been a bassist. I started playing guitar out of necessity, and now I play guitar all the time, which is fine. I love guitar. I have embraced it many years ago, but when I get up and play bass and just thrash it up, I'm super stoked. And I wish I had a band I could play bass in right now, but I don't. Yeah. So there's Jerry for you.
That's cool. That's really cool. And that's again, now when I listen back, I'm gonna think of it from the perspective of death. See, I love these little stories, of the making of albums and songs that you typically never know
Me too.
about.
Yeah,
So,
you wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't. And most people don't. And that's, as an artist, I think that's what gets frustrating. So like no one's ever going to know the story. But I'm like, there's 2 things I think about. One, and I'm going to get weird here. One is I think about people who review records, and when they like the records or don't like the records. And I'm always like, it doesn't really fucking matter. Like what matters is I'm putting out records. And then I'm like, well, then who
Yeah,
cares? What's that?
I said, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's your singer. I mean, yeah, it's you just keep putting it out there, man. It comes in from the ether, you run it through the fucking cosmic generator into something recorded, and then it goes out there. But like, I've been sober for 30-ish years. I forget. It's been a
for you,
fucking
man.
long time, but my wife talked me into doing the heroic dose of psilocybin for my anxiety a
Yeah.
few years ago, and that was like, the closest thing to, well, it was a spiritual experience for me. And, just kind of like show me what God was for me, which is music and love, like family and music. That was it. And it was simple, but it was also super profound. But I had this vision of like, this is the fucked up part. This alien, like, I don't know, fuck, sometime in the future, like this aliens coming to Earth and they're like, they're doing their thing, they're taking over, and then it's going through so it looks into the databases and it like plugs the chip into his head and it's scanning all this shit, and a Sleepless song comes on, and all of a sudden it's like this is the fucking best thing since sliced bread. You guys heard this before? Like, and I was like, that, who gives a shit? You're right. Because an alien 100,000 years from now might think it's the best thing fucking ever. So guess what? Keep putting it out there. That's it. So that was my big takeaway.
A good takeaway indeed, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
I thought it was cool. Before you go on to lineup stuff, back to lineup up. We're not 100% right now. Like, I guess I'll just go ahead. I can bitch it, but I had lunch the other day with Brandon Cook from Black and Blue and Loyal Order. So at least in theory right now, he's going to be the live guitarist for
no kidding.
Sleepless.
Wow. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it was a really good meeting. He's fucking super cool, sweet dude, like salt of earth, and so talented, and he does Slayer tribute bands and fucking Foreigner tribute band, like, and plus his other big bands. He's good, but it'll be, be a very, like, as we have shows, like, he'll come in to rehearse and then we'll do the shows, and he likes the music a lot. So we're going to do it. So that's exciting. So basically I've got the lineup. The only question is if I'm going to have a keyboardist or if I'm going to use tracks for keys.
Program.
I'm not really married to either one. I'm an old school guy, so I always like the idea of someone there working the keys, but,
sure.
But, guys like Kevin will always tell me, fuck that. Use tracks, it's just keyboards. Nobody cares, so.
Well, you know what the hard part is, I think, I don't know. Well, I shouldn't speak. I don't know how it is in Portland, but it seems like out here in Pittsburgh, keyboards it seems like people always talk about it's hard to find a good drummer or hard to find a good bass, whatever. It's like when I talk to people in other bands and bands talk about, we'd like to get someone to play Hammond, or we'd like to get someone to play keys or synth or something, and it's like, who the hell are you? I mean, it seems like it's one of those instruments that so many people start at when they're kids, but then you get out to where you're playing, like maybe they're playing jazz or pop or whatever, but it never seems to filter down enough into the metal scene where it's like easy to find someone you could plug in that would be there on a consistent enough basis. It like, in a perfect world, it'd be great to have someone out live on keyboards, but it's like, how do you find the guy?
Exactly. That is the clincher. Ryan, our drummer, says he plays in a new wave band called Golden Skeletons, and they've got a keyboardist. So I don't know if she knows this, but I believe he's going to talk to her about playing. So and Sleepless, the keyboards are like, no, it's nothing crazy going on. Kevin and I play them in the studio. We just do, we play it, we hum the melody to each other, then we just play it on the keyboard and write it on the screen. And it's mainly like synth pads, and you can hear it. It's just all in the background just to make it sound thicker and more dark, which is probably it's probably where the progressive doom thing kicks in. We did have a guy named Fernando who's really good electronic music producer. He played on a couple of the songs on the new album, like Consumed by Vengeance. And he does the, like, start with, with the wow, 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 like on the, with the gong, 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 that's all, that's Fernando. And he did a great job. He's actually doing a kind of club-ish, like a dark wave version of that song for me right now, with kind of a boom, 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 boom. But like, I want it like heavy, like Godzilla. Like, I don't want it to sound light. I want it to be, this isn't Tube Top West Hollywood dance tune here. This is a different one. I got some songs I can play you guys later there from that stuff I'd produced. But this is going to be heavy as shit. So I told him I go, if it doesn't sound like it's from a Godzilla movie, I don't want to do it. So that's going to be we'll talk about that probably later. Go ahead, because there's a reboot coming potentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, before we kind of switch gears and talk about Alpha Destroyer, let's just go down the road because I know that Sleepless has never had a chance to play out live, but you guys are ready, set, go at a
Yeah.
moment's notice. Is there
Yeah.
anything kind of lined up, or is
Once
there
I
a
have this,
foreseeable?
once it's all set up, we got asked to do fuck, oh my god, don't kick my ass. The Blades of Steel. Um,
Oh, Randy Kastner out here in
Randy,
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Randy asked us that. See, that was the thing blew my mind. On the first record, I get a message from Randy, and I didn't know Randy already. Like he messaged me, he goes, "Hey, I was with some guys at the Wasp concert, in New York, and your name came up. Wanted to know if you guys wanted to play the Blades of Steel festival." I was like, "What the fuck? How do you know who we are?" Like, I'm like, Dead Conspiracy got back together. We were like, we're like listed as like influences for bands like Carcass.
Yeah.
And we got back together. Chris, our guitarist, like, we're going to be on all the fucking nobody asked us to be. Nobody asked us to do any of the festivals and shit. First of all, we never had an album out. We only had demos. So
Demos.
I
Yeah.
think that was that hurt us over like Wehrmacht, who had 2 records and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But anyway, I blew my mind. But I messaged Kevin. He's like, I can't. And I was like, fuck. And that was the first moment where I was like, oh, we could be in. And then Kevin literally tells me one day in the studio, he goes, the thing is, you can't build a franchise around one person. And I go, well, that's a problem because I got fucking 2 bands that you sing in. And he's like, oh yeah, well shit, like we got to figure this out.
So what do we
So
do,
he went to
Kevin?
work. He went to work helping us find a singer, and it's funny because like even the songs like Evan's singing, Kevin's singing backup. In like Alpha Destroyer, he's singing on some of the stuff too, like backups, and he's just a good singer, and he can do like this song. We have 6 Reasons. There's a line in it. I forget what the line is, but there's a harmony that sounds like it's from The Omen. It's just this fucking dark harmony, and it's Kevin singing all the difficult intervals that make it that. We went to Portland State University together, and I switched majors like partway through, and he stayed in music, so he did all the ear training, shit like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I probably should have stuck with that. So, so live, I mean, that's just it. Like we'll rehearse tonight, and we're getting close. I think we've got like 5 songs already pretty locked in our Sleepless stuff. And then when we get to like 7 or 8, then we'll start looking for some stuff. So, I mean, we're going to be open. I'm going to send him,
awesome.
some messages. I know in Europe, we've been like we have a fair amount of press in Scandinavia,
Sure.
Germany, places that appreciate metal a
Yeah.
lot more.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
or at least put you in the press. I mean, Metalized and Scream and Rock Hard and all those guys did features on Sleepless.
Sure.
So that makes me super proud. But I'm like, well, fuck, I guess we got to go to Scandinavia.
Actually, Butch can definitely speak to that because, and everybody we
Please,
talk
yeah.
to, it's there's something about being in Europe and being a metal band. It's never gone out of fashion. It is, it's in their blood there. It's literally
Yeah.
part of them.
It's
Unfortunately, it's not like that
100%.
here. But
Which
yeah,
is
I
a trip
mean,
because you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's helpful over there. I mean, I think the geography lends itself a little bit towards, it doesn't explain everything, but the United States is so huge. It's hard to, like, over there, all those countries kind of jammed up against each other. And it's kind of like easy to get from place to place. At least at one time, like flights weren't too bad. Like, to get on a plane, under, at one point it was under €100 to go from place to place. And it
They
makes
still are. They're cheap.
yeah, it makes going to festivals like over there
Yeah.
like so much. So and over here it just seems like until Hell's Heroes, that's the first festival other than like Milwaukee Metal Fest and that I can remember. It's the first and Maryland Death Fest, like really gaining traction with like traditional kind of metal styles over here. Whereas over there, I don't know. I don't know what it is if it's in the water. People just do appreciate. And I always, every time I say this, I have to add in there. I don't think that it's people here that love metal don't love metal as much. I just think that there's something about it that more people over there, it's still part of who they're. I mean, they buy more shit, vinyl and CDs and stuff over there, and
it's
they buy as many
80% of my
small
sales
T-shirts as you can bring, and
it's literally 80% of my sales are Europe. And although with shipping prices, that's become a massive fucking deal. So now it's like you need distribution, or you need to go like you organically get the stuff into stores, or you need to tour, which that's what we need to do. I want to. I mean, I've not, other than playing with Jerry, with Jerry A and the Neil Girls, which was amazing. Like I haven't got to play live in a while, so that's part of the reason I get so much time writing, I guess. So it's a trade-off, but I mean, I sometimes like, oh, maybe it's just the grass is always greener, like but I don't think so. I mean, although I just went to Scandinavia this year, and I was, other than in Uppsala in Sweden, I didn't see a lot of people like wearing metal shirts. There I did all over the place. I was kind of, but it's a college town too, so like Stockholm wasn't like that, and I kind of had dreams of like, oh, the fucking metalheads everywhere, but I mean, they're there, but they crawl out of the woodwork like the rest of us here, but yeah, I'm excited. I mean, if I can do this, me, my kid, if Brandon Cook's on there and Evan singing and Ryan on drums, it's going to be fucking brilliant. And so I get excited for every practice because, like I said, the way Ryan does with his drums, like the first rehearsal, I was like, God, I'm kind of nervous about this. Like, he's an amazing drummer. Why is he kind of dummying it down? Like,
Right.
I said, you can do some flourishes on this stuff. He goes, I'm notating everything. I want to make sure I've got the outline. I'm like, oh, he's a real musician. Okay. So the next practice was like 50% better. And then the next practice was like, holy shit. Now all of a sudden he's adding like crescendos and things to the parts that to like lead you. So you feel you're going to the next part. And I'm like, what the fuck? And Hicks and I are looking at each other like, oh, and then, Evan comes in and just grabs the mic and starts belting it out. And we're like, okay, this is fucking it. I mean, I'm in ecstasy. So, it's just, it's been a trip because 5 years or whatever of doing these songs and never even rehearsing them as a band. You never heard someone sing the songs. Kevin and I did all the shit in the studio. Yeah. And the difference between the first album and the second album is the first album, we wrote the lyrics, or I wrote the lyrics and we wrote the vocals that day. Like, we're doing the vocals today for this song, and we would make the vocals that day.
Wow.
And it would be done. Yeah. The second album, the goal was we want a world-class album. So the second album, we did all the vocals with like a cheaper mic and just like did them all, in a day. And then we came back to them in like a month and then redid each one day, like one vocal track, but we'd had time to relate to it, figure out what we wanted out of it, and then improve on it. So it sounds more, organic, than just kind of, I feel like the first album, the only weakness is, and it was in a couple of reviews, like really good album, but I feel like feels a little rushed. I'm like, it was a 3-song EP. New Metal Warrior Records in the Netherlands said we want to release this, but we want it to be a full album. I'm like, oh shit, I need like 7 more songs. So I'm like, I guess I better get to work. And then we literally had it done in like 5 months. It was written and recorded and done, so
wow.
Yeah.
Are you still with Metal Warrior, by the way?
I mean, no, we don't. It was a pretty loose contract anyway on the first record, and the second record we kind of split it. It was Necromantic Press Records, which was my label, and then theirs. But they had a lot of stuff going on, so they pressed all the CDs and I pressed the vinyl.
Okay.
And then so we just did it like that, and we shipped each other stuff.
I gotcha.
Yeah, kind of conglomeration. I'd like to. I actually would love Sleepless to be on a label, like a decent label. Like all I want is distribution. Like all I want for Christmas is fucking distro deal. That's it. Just someone to put them in the damn store, so that some units can move other than through Bandcamp and like my
Yeah.
new Shopify page, which is necromanticpress.com. For anyone who's interested, I mean, and I'm picking up other labels stuff there like everybody does and selling them on our page. But it's kind of DIY is cool, but now with international shipping being issues, like I'm offering free shipping even to stores overseas or
Nice.
distros, like they take 25 units, I'm covering shipping. So I mean in Scandinavia, I'm like, I've got Martin from Alpha Destroyer in Stockholm. I can ship it to him and he can deliver it to the stores.
Right, right.
So
Nice.
anyway, yeah.
Hey, I know that you're kind of on a schedule. You've got a rehearsal coming up tonight. But speaking of Alpha Destroyer,
I'm on your
kind of
schedule, guys.
change.
Uh-huh.
Let's change a little bit here. Butch and I were talking about it when I, sent him, some of the YouTube videos and things like that. And Butch was like, "These guys are kind of hard to classify. They got a lot going on." But I mean,
It's me, man. I'm fucked up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, when I listen to the latest record, and I thought, you get an impression based on the first song, and I'm like, okay, I think I know where these dudes are. And I looked at the art, and then I'm listening to the first song, and I'm digging it, and I'm like, and then the next song comes up, like, oh, wait a second. I'm like, it's like so, and I feel like Sleepless too has a diversity to it, that's really cool to hear, but it all still hangs together. But then the Alpha Destroyer is like another thing where I'm like, Mike, it goes from like thrash to punk, and then don't kill me, but there's like this is
Hair
like
metal.
border hair metal
Yeah.
in here, and I'm like,
yeah,
and when I looked at, when I was doing some of the, checking out the guys in the band, and not checking out the guys, not that there's anything wrong with that,
I
but
mean, there's some lookers in the band, dude. Come on.
yeah. But when I saw about Kevin like being in the Journey band, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it makes sense. Like the voice on the stuff like can do like it fits the
Well,
heavier thing, but it has like that
that's on
Joey.
Martin. But yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
that thing is, well, yeah. So that band came about from the Monsters of Rock cruise. It's in all of our press release stuff. It's basically like, which has hurt me a little bit in the press. You could be like, oh, well, these guys got together, Monsters of Rock, and they were out drinking, and they came up with a fucking like, no, like I met Kelly Lemieux from Buck Cherry because they were playing, and like the first Monsters of Rock I went on. I'll try to blast through this for you guys, but like I wanted to see the band Heat from Sweden, and
Oh, they're
they
great.
never. Yeah, you like Heat?
Yeah, I dig them. I don't know as much about them as a lot of people do, but like what
Yeah.
I've heard and what I have is they're
They're
killer.
great. And I wanted to see him, and I told my wife, I was like, hey, Heat's playing on this fucking rock cruise. And she goes, you gonna go? I'm like, no, I'm not going on some stupid rock cruise out of Florida. Are you kidding me? She goes, where else are they playing? I go, nowhere. They're not touring. They're just playing. She's like on her computer. She goes, if you split the room with somebody, it's like $2,500. Like, let's do it. I'm like, fuck. So I messaged Kevin, hey, do you want to go on that rock cruise? We had talked about it. And he goes, you know what? I do want to go. He goes, like, my friend Brandon Cook's playing in Black and Blue on that cruise. My friend Kelly Lemieux's playing in Buck Cherry on that cruise. My friend Jeff's going to be there hanging out from Loyal Order. My friend, I forget the guy's name, he was playing in a band with the guitarist for Tesla. Um, and so he's like, I know all these other people, like kind of a once in a lifetime. Let's go. So we went, and then we were hanging out, like having coffee and shit. The free food thing on the cruise, and pizza and coffee or whatever, cookies. And I'm like, give me one of each cookie every time I walk by the
Yeah.
it attaches to the same receptor sites as alcohol. So I'm like, I walk by, I'm like, give me one of each of those, and Kevin said something about Kelly being into Bigfoot, and I'm like, I had a Bigfoot sighting when I was a kid, and I was like, I had a Bigfoot sighting when I was a kid, and he goes, what? And he's like, look at my tattoos, and he's showing me his tattoos and stuff. And I was like, this guy's fucking outrageous. Like Kelly is a character, and he Buck Cherry, but he was in fucking Goldfinger. He played in MD 45 with Dave Mustaine. He
Oh,
was in
wow.
Fear.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been fucking around. You know, he played with Joey Ramone. And we're sitting there talking about, we just ended up talking about Bigfoot and rock stuff. You know, I'm like, do you remember the band Funhouse? You know, and like, oh, I knew the bass player. I did, you know, so he knew everybody because he lived in Hollywood for years. So you couldn't name a band you didn't have a story about, you know. So we just kind of hit it off, and we're both sober. So we're up till fucking 3 a.m. eating French fries, talking about metal and rock stuff, you know. And eventually, and it turned out he lives in Portland, and so like we'd hang out and get coffee and stuff and talk shit. And I'm like, hey, I need you to come in and play bass on some songs. And actually, this was a project I was originally going to do with Jerry A. But you know, he is extremely busy, and
Yeah.
he did vocals on one song. It hasn't been released yet. It will be. It became the song "The Prophet" on the Alpha Destroyer album. But I have a version with Jerry singing. It's pretty cool. Anyhow, so really quick, so that was that year. Then like 2 years later, so I'd been recording these songs and using Kelly, and I had Ryan, my drum teacher, on drums. So I was tracking these songs, and in the bio they kind of rewrite it so it sounds more whatever. But the reality is, like, I had the songs, I had a bunch of songs I had this idea, and I wanted it to be kind of doomy, actually, sludgy. You know, if you listen to songs like The Prophet and I don't know, there's several of them. I mean, if you could picture them with like a different singer, they would be more of like a doom thing, you know. I talked to Sean Peck about singing on it. He was going to do it, but he's doing comic books full time, which is how I met him, and he ended up singing on the Sleepless album. And so let's kind of, you know, shuffle all these people around. And so a couple years later, I was on Monsters of Rock, and Crash Diet was playing, and I love Crash Diet. I mean, back in like 2010, I was at my old jujitsu academy working, doing paperwork, and I had Pandora on or something. I think I put like Motley Crue or something in. And this song comes on, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? And I look at I'm like, Crash Diet. And I'm like, huh? So on Google, Sweden, you know, oh, this huge resurgence of 80s metal coming out of Sweden. So I'm like, fuck. So I started listening to all those bands. So that was my opportunity to see Crash Diet. So I went up and I saw Martin, who is their guitarist, and I was like, hey, dude, you know, sorry to bother you guys. And you know, they're like, oh, we're just speaking Swedish, no big deal. And we took a picture together, and then we ended up bumping into each other, and we talked some more. Then we bumped into each other again during the heat set and out by the pool stage, and we started talking about like lip syncing to Motley Crue on our beds and kind of, you know, stuff like that, you know, as kids. And he's like, I want to hear what you're doing. And so I sent him some music, and then he advertised one day on Instagram. He's like, hey, I'm looking for some production work, and he wants some mixing or things done. So I sent him 3 tracks, and I said, I'd be interested in you playing some leads on these, because he's a guitarist, but he also writes all the vocal, like, I don't want to say it's out of turn. My understanding is he writes a lot of the vocal melodies and stuff. Their bass player, Peter, told me he's responsible for most of their melodies. I don't want to steal that from anybody else in the band who also writes melodies, but that was my understanding. And so I said, could you just write guitar stuff and some leads? And I said to him the 3 tracks, and he wrote me back and was like, this is killer. Would you mind me taking a stab at vocals on this? And I was like, I rolled over my wife, and I'm like, Martin from Crash Diet wants to know if he can sing on these songs. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? She's a fan too. I was like, I don't know what to say about it. You know, I'm like, oh, yes, go for it. So, I mean, the first song was Straight to the Grind. So, I mean, I loved it. It was totally different. There was a vocal cadence at the beginning that kind of sounded like NoFX, and they don't like NoFX. So I was like, hey, let's go a little more Skid Row and, you know, not less NoFX. And he just twisted it, you know, and boom. I was like, yeah, that's it, you know. And I'm like, it's not going to be for everybody. But at the same time, I don't think it'll take 100,000 years for an alien to hear it to go, yeah, this is cool. I think a couple of reviews have nailed it. Like, they're like, first listen, I'm like, this is cool, but I don't totally get it. And the next listen, I'm like, I'm getting it. And the next listen, I'm like, fucking, I dig it, you know, because, you got to kind of hear like you said, it starts straight into the grind, and you got that fast, just a fast riff thing I'm doing, kind of conjuring a little bit of Motorheady type things or whatever. But second song, if you think about like this, I think is Master Plan, and it starts with like, bum, 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 now. All it's a fucking Def Leppard type riff from like the first two Def Leppard records.
Yeah.
No one points that out. They're all like, oh, it sounds like, like they always do with fucking reviews. Like, it sounds like, I can't even think of it as Rat doing something. I'm like, what? Like, okay. Like, the whole point was to allow like the heavy parts and the weird shit I do, lots of flat fives and all the Slayer tricks and stuff to be in there, but to be able to express like my love for bands like Def Leppard, primarily earlier stuff, that raw rock and roll energy,
Yeah.
and to have a singer who can make those big choruses and pre-choruses and shit that when I was playing death metal I only dreamt of. Like Chuck Schuldiner. I mean, you think about Chuck, like all those years, him wanting, to do a band like Control Denied, like, he wanting to have someone who's singing melodic and hoping he could be able to do that, from what everybody says. And I love Chuck. I had a great story about hanging out with him backstage. We played with Dead Conspiracy, played with Death and Carcass and Pestilence. And Chuck was hanging out us backstage, and he's like, your 1988 demo is one of my top 10 favorite demos. And I was like, we're just dying. Like, it was the coolest thing ever, because this band comes downstairs and they're like, hey, Chuck, we got a limousine, we got Coke, we got strippers. Like, come on, let's go. And he's like, oh, it's cool, man. I'm hanging out with the guys at Dead Conspiracy. And they're like, okay. And they take off. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, the coolest thing ever, right? But I always think about that, like how, like, I am really fortunate because, first of all, for all these stars to align and be able to play with all these people is just a gift to me. If other people like it, I hope they do. But like, this was a very easy project for us to do. Like Martin has said multiple times, like in interviews and stuff, like super, it was an easy collaboration. It was like, I send him the song and he would come back and be like, I got a lead part, I got vocal parts. And he's like, I hear it. I'm like, I sent him the song Conspiracy. That was going to be a Sleepless song. And if you listen to that tune, it's a fucking 100% a Sleepless tune without the keys. If you listen to the song Conspiracy, you'll know. Picture Kevin singing on it. And I said to him, I was like, I'm going to test you on this one. Like, how can you make this one rock? And then he did it, and I fucking loved it. And I was like, yep, we're good, So yeah, I thought, well, maybe I'm going to be stuck on writing Alpha Destroyer forever now. But I've got 2 new Sleepless songs in the fucking can. And I think they're going to be some of our best songs ever. I was going to play some for you guys, but probably don't have time for that. But
I got time if you got time.
We're good, son.
Yeah.
Well, I can give you a little sneak peek. Check this out.
Okay.
So this first tune. So I'm thinking about 2 things. So I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know if do you guys edit these interviews?
Not a whole lot, but if you'd like me to, I can. That's not.
No, it's up to you. I mean, it's just up to you because I'm rambling a little bit. But
we ramble all the time, Eric.
What's that?
We ramble all the time.
We know full flavor, man.
That's it, dude. My digital marketing guy James says, like, he's like, well, what you should do is, because we've got organically, we've got, without even playing live, we've now got, he's like, you need to have over 3,000 Facebook followers, because there's all these other fucking bands called Sleepless, and you need to be higher than the last one, but we're not going to farm them out of another country. Like, we're going to post songs like Lost Star and all this stuff. We're going to just get it out to people,
Sure.
And so we got to like 4,200 followers or something in a couple months. And he goes, what you should probably consider doing is doing a reboot of Through Endless Black. And just, he's like, he works with a lot of like, even like the country rap guys and all that kind of stuff. He's like, what you do is you take the record, I'm like, I don't know this shit. He's like, add 2 songs or 3 songs to it. Just do it as like a CD and not vinyl. Of course, I'm going to try to figure a fucking way to do vinyl because I like records. And he's like, you could release that with 2 additional songs, and then you could do a and then digital, and this kind of boost the album,
Yeah,
which could then add more sales to the original album.
sure.
My mindset, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want to get on like Metal Blade or some fucking label. Who cares? You name the label. I'm just talking out my ass. And then I want to have someone who can distribute, and I want to write a whole new album. I want someone to go, I love these new songs, do a whole nother album for me, and I'll do it.
Right.
So they have about 2 months to do that before I just say fuck it and release this. But so this first one, the first riff is actually from the 87 demo from my band Dead Conspiracy, and we supersized it. We wrote a contrary rhythm across it, and then we added keyboards. And but it's I just found out a while ago that our guitarist actually stole it from the movie Flash Gordon. It's part of Ming the Merciless, whatever his theme song.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. So I'm like, we got it right. I think it's this one. It's called right now. It's called Through Trips and Dreams. Do you hear that, or does it just sound like mush?
Nope, I'm not hearing anything
I
actually.
don't hear anything right now. I heard like a blip, just a bop.
What's that?
What are you playing it through, Eric?
I just heard pop.
Oh, I'm playing on this.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is the same problem we ran into with John Gallo. He attempted to do that too, but the program that he's using for the meeting, like immediately noise reduces it. I don't know if that's the same thing on your end or not, but
That sucks. Maybe it has to be less loud.
maybe.
Like if you go, whoa.
Yeah, nothing.
Nope.
No, it's
No.
clipping. It's snipping it off.
That
It's
sucks.
circumcising it.
It circumcised it castrated it. Hold on, I turned it off. What happens if I do it on my phone?
No, I think
Nothing.
it's whatever that program is that Mike's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? You guys had the exclusive. I don't know what to tell you. So now we'll figure it out. I'll edit a clip and send it to you, and you can use it for like outro music or something.
Yeah,
We're gonna
you send it. We'll edit. Be like, that's awesome.
We'll
Yeah.
use it as the intro and outro. Definitely.
Yeah.
no,
That'd be great.
I'll give you guys something from it. It's cool. Like yeah, it's really heavy. Like I had a friend of mine who lives in Honduras now, do strings like violins on it. He did like 30 takes of violins.
Oh man.
You don't really hear them. They're kind of like a horror movie, like in the background. He's just doing this fast little violin thing. And then it kind of goes along with this big boom, 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 boom.
Man.
Go, 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 go. It's fucking
Sounds
massive,
awesome.
like a Conan thing. And then it goes into a fast double, skanky beat, back it, back it, back it, back it, back. And then Kevin sings, I'm giving the song like this way. Then Kevin sings, there's one cool part. Then it goes into this shit I stole from Gene Hoglan, who used to be a buddy of mine, but I wish I could still talk to him. Back in the old days, I had him fanzine in the 80s. Anyway, he does this fucking beat, on Brotherhood of the Snake?
Oh yeah.
That blast beat he does, it's a blast beat, but not a blast beat. It's
Right.
fucking double basses with a snare beat. And I gave that to Ryan. I was like, I need you to play this beat. And like, he was fucking pouring sweat in the studio. Double bass with a snare. He's like, it's so cool because what I love about it is it's like a blast beat, but it doesn't have all the splashy cymbal. And just sometimes that gets, I like black metal, but
Heck
I'm
yeah.
like a Bathory guy. I'm old. Like I like rap, but I like Run DMC and Curtis Blow and fucking Fat Boys and LL Cool J's first record. I love black metal, but I love Bathory, and I like some SAR guys. I like some Carpathian Forest. I like whatever strikes me at the moment. It sounds fucking great. But anyway.
Right.
Sometimes I just don't like it when it goes to me. The music starts getting washed out, and so it doesn't work for me as well. But there's a place and time for everything. So anyway, now that I say that, I'm probably gonna have to go write something with that just to make sure I get over that weird phobia. Um, so yeah,
Face your fears, Eric. Face your
thank
fears.
you. Yeah, no shit.
Head on.
I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, okay, cool. Where were we? Where were we at? So that's gonna be. There's 2 new songs. Uh, One of them I wrote about my experiences with psilocybin, and the other one, and you could tell by the album cover, it's kind of with that, like the plague doctor being destroyed by
Yeah.
psychedelic mushrooms. And the if I do the reboot, I actually have another cover that my tattoo artist did. It's really great. It's in the same theme, but different. So it'll be that would be the the cover. He's the guy who did my Cthulhu
Oh,
creator of
nice.
universes, whatever over here. Yeah, which is
Sweet.
another like psychedelic thing. He's like creating universes, and anyway.
Let's just like forecast ahead here a little bit.
Yeah.
When do you believe, or what's a schedule that you're trying to follow to hopefully have the next Sleepless album out?
Well, I think if I do a reboot by spring at the latest,
Okay.
um, I'm really I'm really gonna try to find someone who could pitch us to some labels and be like,
Okay.
this is what they got. I just don't like to ask people for favors. Like
Yeah.
you get people who are known people, and they're like, oh, I love what you're doing, and like, oh, you do? Cool. Could you get us a record deal? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just need, it's like, I don't know, my digital marketing guy can write a letter, can pitch us. I just don't know anything about that shit these days. I know labels. I don't care about making money. I just don't want to spend all my money on it and then not have
Yeah.
distribution to get it
Yep.
to people who want to hear it. When you guys
Distribution is
did
key, man.
on Through Endless Black last, whatever it was, a year ago, you guys did your top of the year, and you said, this is the best band nobody's ever heard.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's the
like,
truth.
these fucking guy nailed it. Like, I'm like, we are good, and nobody's ever heard us. And I'm like, and it's true. Like in Europe, they have, but I don't know how many people.
Yeah.
I mean, so then again, you can get on a label and nobody hears you either. So I think part of it's our fault. We need to go out and do some shows. We need to do some grassroots growth. But so with that, I've got these songs, 2 new songs. Fernando's working on this kind of Godzilla heavy remix of Consumed by Vengeance. I may have Ryan McPhail redo drums on a couple songs just for fun, and then we'll package that. So that'll either be a reboot this coming spring, or
Mhm.
if we can get a label support, then I'm going to go guns blazing on another full Sleepless record, and I've got 2 songs ready to go. I'm also going to wrap up the first Occultista record. I've got like 6 songs recorded because I recorded a lot of the tracks 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And we've already got like half of them already have Evan singing on them, so that's great. I've already written 6 songs for the next Alpha Destroyer album. So, and that album just came out. So Kelly Lemieux was like, we had lunch. He goes, what the fuck are you doing, man? He's like, you got like a year before you need to think about the next record. He's like, take a fucking break. I'm like, I can't, man. I get
Not
fucking
wired.
hyped up. Yeah, I gotta
Time waits
go.
for no one, man.
No shit. And there's always inspiration out there. Like, you guys listen to AFI?
I here and there. I can't say I'm
Loaded
like,
question, I know. So I didn't forever. My wife is younger than me, and she is from more of the AFI generation. So she's kind of got me into some of that stuff. But
nothing wrong with that.
their new album is like very like 80s gothic British type
Yeah,
thing.
it's like The Cure or something, man.
It
It's like
is.
it's really cool.
It's fucking cool. And we just saw them in San Diego, and they were brilliant. But their guitar player he's doing like a kind of hard guitar sound, but then he's running a really long reverb, and then he's putting a distortion at the end of the reverb, which I guess is something more like a keyboard thing they do. I don't know anything about keyboards, and I'm not a big effects guy, but I'm studying what he's doing. I'm like, how does he get that sound
Sure.
like towards the end? But then they're using a lot of acoustic guitars. And I'm like, so I started working on, not in that vein, but I was like, oh, the idea of using acoustic guitars in heavy music, I should explore that. And I wrote a new song that so far the guitar is just acoustic, but it's like an acoustic electric, not a campfire thing. And but Ryan's gonna do like a big tribal, you know, like a Sepultura type beat with this acousticy thing that's like a dissonant. You know, I'm doing like it's actually a George Lynch type guitar progression, but it sounds more like a Slayer progression. I mean, they're all fucking the same. There's only so many notes, and you know, it's all your attitude.
Right.
If you do that versus so uh, so much fuss about a little bit of makeup or whatever. But anyhow, so that's another one. There's 6 songs for the new album already. So who knows? And then my band Yersinia, the thrashy thing, we have a demo done. We don't have a singer. Butch, you need another singing job?
We could talk about it offline.
He doesn't want to put anything out there official.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to find a singer now. Like, how hard could it be to find a fucking thrash singer in Portland, Oregon? Like, shouldn't be that hard. I mean, we're not trying hard enough, but we've got like 7 songs and we're ready to play live because I just want to get out there and get on stage and fuck shit up.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. So that's it. I think. Live for Sleepless by summer. Like as far as like leaving Oregon, hopefully playing some places. And
sure.
If anyone, watches your show and wants us on a festival or something, hit us up because we'll take those dates.
Like, I'll put a bug back in Randy Kastner's ear. Randy and I talk fairly frequently, so I'll see what Blades of Steel is looking like for next year. And
yeah, if they're doing it, let them know because yeah, absolutely. We would love to do it. When he messaged me, I was like, this would be fucking sweet, but I just I need to have a band together, but it will be basically the band who's playing on all the new music, other than Evan singing, but Evan is a fucking great singer too. So we're fortunate. Like I said, I got Kevin and Evan singing on all the new stuff together.
Awesome.
Which is kind of nice because he's already on there. He's melding, but he's melding with Kevin. But right. I just feel like there's a little bit of calm down a second here. I get hyped up. It's not all about people say, but I do listen. And I remember there was a guy from like Poland. It was like, don't lose your singer. And in some review, and I was like, yeah, aside from that, I feel like Sleepless is kind of me in a nutshell. Like all the weird creative things, whatever you call it, in my head, and Kevin is a big part of that, and I can't separate myself from that for that band. Yeah. So I have this other band, like the Parliament Funkadelic thing, and we do this. But if you call upon Sleepless, we will respond. Yeah, it will be like going to see Vital Remains and having the dude from Bend, Oregon, singing instead of Glenn Benton. Like. It will fucking kick your ass just as much. It just won't be Kevin. You know what I mean? At this point, nobody knows who we are anyway, so they won't know who our singer is. So it'll work out in the end. It'll be you and 3 other guys are like, oh, in the back. Oh, that's a different singer.
Yeah.
Fuck is this guy?
They're just a cover band now.
Yeah, fuck, they're covering it. It's a Kiss. I mean, So yeah, exactly. So literally now my thing is I'm gonna have both them sing on the songs. Kevin's the lead singer. Evan will sing backups, and then he'll be the lead singer on Occultista, and Kevin sings backup. So
nice, versatile.
Yeah, I'm excited to get you some of the Occultista stuff too. As soon as that single's ready, I'll get that to you. So
what we'll do is we'll make sure we put all the links for all of your projects and bands and stuff in the description of this video, so everybody has a chance to check all that out.
Let me know what you need.
Yeah, we'll share it. We'll share it everywhere. Yeah, any links that you think are essential to make sure.
OnlyFans, whatever.
My OnlyFans, dude. How do you think I get to play music all the time? Fuck yeah, farts in a jar and toe videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly isn't for showing my package. As far as
I had to resort to selling my old socks.
Exactly. Hey, dude. It's heavy metal. You got to do what you got to do to make ends meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got no shame with that.
Well, hey, Eric, I tell you, man, this has been a blast.
Definitely.
I'm glad this finally came together. But
come on anytime you want, brother.
Yeah, Yeah, we definitely got to have you back on. Even
Just
if
talk
if
shit on
we
camera. Huh?
Well, yeah, even if we've been talking about having, recurring
Doing like a
guests just for
live or yeah.
storytelling shit.
Mhm.
And you've got some really good stuff. So
Oh,
we
he's
will
got millions. You,
yeah, but
millions of stories.
for sure, man. Don't be a stranger. You can jump back on anytime you want. And if if you do repackage the Sleepless album or new Alpha Destroyer, anything you want to push and promote, please, we are your vehicle. We'll do
Yep.
anything you
You got
need,
it.
man.
All right. Well, you
Definitely.
guys keep fucking kicking ass, man. You guys got your fingers on the pulse of what rocks, and I appreciate that.
We appreciate that. We're having a
Yeah,
good
thank you,
time
man.
and, spreading the word as best we can for, good friends of ours like yourself, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
all
Cool.
right. Well, Eric,
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Keep us posted. Don't be a
The pleasure
stranger.
is mine. All right.
We will see all of you on the next episode of For
The
the
sake
Sake
Rock on,
of
guys. All right.
heaviness.
Heaviness.
All
Yeah.
right.
Take care, Eric. We'll see you later, man.
Later.
Take it
Bye.
easy, Eric. Thank you so
Yep.
much, man.
Yep. Cheers, guys. I
Cheers.
appreciate you
Later.
guys.